Alright, so first of all, while trying to make this video for you guys, everything has gone wrong. So, I don't think that somebody wants me to tell you all about this, but I'm going to, and hopefully this is it. So, I want to share with you guys what happened to me about 2.5 years ago. It's taken about this long for me to be able to talk about it. I've shared it with a few people privately. And it's such an impact that I think it's worth talking about. And the reason is because I see a lot of people struggling out there. And I see your posts and in-person conversations as well. And with just negativity in relationships, jobs, friendships, everything you can think of. And I think it's important to talk about this because sometimes when you're fighting against everything you've got, there's a reason. And what happened to me is sort of describing that feeling and that reason and the outcome. So 2.5 years ago, I was working at a dispensary in Aurora, Colorado, here near Denver, for my friends that aren't from Colorado. And so I was armed security, tasked with protecting the marijuana and the money, etc. And when I first started working there, they told me, no weekends or minimal. Ended up working every weekend. And during the course of working there, I was just having a difficult time. No matter what I did, just wasn't right. Problems with employees, problems with some customers. They would say things about me that were absolutely false, and they were proven false. The employees, I found out later, wanted the person I replaced to come back. He had been promoted. That wasn't going to happen. So they were making life hard on about anybody, from what I understand, that took over that role. No matter what I did, I just could not seem to get it right. And it's hard for me, and it's hard for everybody. When you're trying, you want to do a good job, you want to be successful, to not be able to. And I was fighting, I call it like a tidal wave of negativity, tidal wave of unbelonging, and things just, like I said, I was fighting. And so one day on my way to work, with one of my older cars, the tire blew out, and I think it might have even been 2 tires, and ended up pushing me into being late and too late to keep my job, and they let me go. And I was devastated, for the things I'd already overcome, for the things I was trying to kind of earn back, and I couldn't figure it out. So about 2 weeks after my last day, my mom had texted me, and she said there was a shooting at a dispensary, and was just kind of like, well, maybe the person, you're in that business. And so I was like, oh, I don't know, I'll look into it. So I got on the computer and I looked up shooting in the area, and sure enough, it was where I had been working. It was approximately, I think, 2 weeks after my last shift, on my shift on a Friday or Saturday, and an apparent, from what the article said, a robbery. And they came late in the evening towards closing. From what I understand, they ended up shooting my replacement 3 times, once in the head, and he lost his life. He was a former veteran, like I am. I guess he had a couple kids. Just devastating for a family, devastating for anybody to go through that. And so I dwelt on that for a while, and it's all I could think about. I was like, I literally dodged a bullet. And it sort of made sense at that point. While that negativity was there, it was, the big man upstairs telling me, you gotta go. You gotta go. And I wasn't listening, and it took some drastic stuff, like the tire blowing out, to end my employment. I didn't even end it. I didn't leave. I didn't get it. But someone else had other plans. And my friend had said, that bullet wasn't meant for you. And it stuck with me. I still think about it. I did it still at that time, but that gave me some peace to know that I have a purpose, that there was a purpose, that it wasn't me. And again, my heart goes out to him and his family. I can't even imagine. I can't. But what I can't do is I can't go and change it. I can't go back and rewrite it. As much as sometimes I'd want to, I can't go back and rewrite that. But what the purpose of this is to let you know that friendships, relationships, jobs, when you're fighting against that tidal wave, take a really hard look at maybe why. I've been saying it recently, I've said it before. Sometimes that bad thing can keep you from the worst thing. And in some respects, that bad thing, getting fired, getting let go, getting let down, stopped that worst thing from potentially happening. And I'm not saying that because you have a bad day at work, it's time to quit. Because you get in a fight with your significant other, it's time to throw in the towel and give up. Or, you and your friend don't get along for a little while, to say we're not friends anymore. Nobody'd take my advice anyway if I said, hey, have one fight with your wife and just get a divorce. It doesn't work like that. But when you really step back and look at a tidal wave, I call it, of signs that point to something, listen. I didn't, and took some other drastic measures for me to finally get it. But I just want to say I love y'all. I do pay attention. I know you're struggling. And I know what I'm saying is hard decisions. Very hard decisions. Quit your job, or it's finally time to end a relationship. Think long and hard about it. But I think long and hard about that bad thing, that breakup, that finding a new job might keep you from the worst thing, which could be any number of things. But I want to say I love you, and the reason I'm talking about this is exactly that. Look at the big picture, look at what might happen, and look at the signs, and that's why I'm talking about it now. Because if it can benefit somebody who's on the brink or is at a job, that they're giving you a rough time, or you're having problems, really think hard. Maybe it's time to do something else. So I love you. Pray for you, and I thank you all for being my friend. I really do.